I'm very excited for this week's episode. I have Cameron Moulène on, who I met randomly. He's a single dad of a 6-year-old boy on the spectrum who reminds me so much of my 6-year-old boy on the spectrum. We have a really awesome, awesome conversation. I think you're going to love him. And we also did a sketch together that completely blew up about when autism parents meet. Okay, so that's exciting and that's coming up. I just got back from Arizona, you guys. I flew into Phoenix and stayed in this little town outside of Phoenix um, with 6 of my best friends. I am talking some of these people I went to 3-year-old preschool with, some I went to junior high with, grammar school, high school. I truly grew up with them right outside Chicago. They were my girls. And I feel so lucky. It was one of my best friend's birthdays. And we all celebrated there. And it was so much fun. I can't even tell you. It's like, those friends, those childhood friends you have, or even if you haven't seen them for 6 months, you walk in the room and it's like you're just instantly 12 again. It was that all weekend. So much fun. We had this like 4-hour dinner, just laughing our asses off, eating too much food, connecting, updating each other. Then we went to these like Western bars. Uh, and it was just fucking hilarious, dude. Just square dancing, line dancing, dancing. So much fun. I can't even begin to describe. Then we had this woman read our soul contracts. Um, she was pretty dope. I got a little confused. I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of numbers being thrown out. You're a 12-8, and that means you were a 7-7 in a past life, and now you're a 6-4. Huh? 6-7. I don't know what she's talking about, but it was cool. She was cool, and she read our soul contracts and basically guided us on what she believed our life purpose was. It was just like a fun thing. It was just this just a fun thing to do. It was a fun thing to do. All right. God damn it. But dude, and then we went ATVing. That shit was wild. I was screaming the whole time. I thought I was gonna die, and I loved it. Um, so much fun, man. Dancing, laughing, eating, ATVing, fucking phenomenal. Went out to these bars. Yo, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if like guys are out here with mommy issues or some shit. I'm having early 20s guys hitting on me. I said, "What do you want? You want mommy? What's going on here?" It's wild. Um, But man, it was just such a fucking epic time. Okay, so that was it. But now I'm back and back in reality, and we're here. And again, so excited for you guys to hear this interview with Cameron. He's amazing. I don't want to say too much because he'll say it all, but he has a really powerful story. And I meet a lot of single moms. I don't really meet a lot of single dads, and we just connect on many levels, and it's pretty awesome. He's a great friend now, and I feel very grateful to have met him and to have learned more about him and all the cool things he's doing. He developed this incredible app that I'm so excited about called AugiHealth, and you'll hear more about that too. I think this is a life-changing app. So yay, I'm gonna shut the hell up now. Go enjoy. For those people who don't know who you are, can you tell them who you are?
I'm Cameron Moulène.
Tell me more.
I'm presently known as Augie's dad. That is generally my new moniker. But I'm Cameron Moulène. I used to be an actor. I've been a founder and entrepreneur for a few years, and I started a company called AugiHealth recently.
And what led you to start that?
My son, when he was 2, got diagnosed with autism and was nonverbal. And I had just sold my last company. And I started putting together this care team that was across the country, trying to find like all the best specialists, the best speech pathologists, the best neuroscientist. And for the first time in my life, realized these doctors don't communicate. Like these specialists aren't considering the other vector of care. And initially it wasn't a business. It was like, okay, how do I, as a dad, unify all these different vectors so that everyone is informed by every other specialty? And then as a non-medical professional, How do I understand what they're trying to do so I can implement it at home? And I built that and I
Wow.
shared it with his care team and, used it at home. And within 6 months, he went from nonverbal to verbal. And he's still on the spectrum, but it was probably more towards like stage 1, 2 now and doing amazing and in kindergarten. And
And you feel like your app influenced that.
yes, very much. But at that time, it wasn't an app. At the time, it was just an architecture for unifying your care team on the individual's behalf. So that was like this big pair. So it's like, it was almost like a protocol.
Okay.
And the reason for it and the reason we made it a business is today, healthcare is so fragmented,
Yeah.
right? There's silos within silos. You have silos at the electronic health record layer, which is like think of it as the record provider for every hospital, which is like an Epic, a Cerner. They digitize everything and create a digital record for your doctors that work within systems. And then there's silos within the system layer. So like UCLA has their own data silo, Cedars-Sinai, Johns Hopkins, Mayo, they all are incentivized to keep their data within their ecosystem and
Okay.
not share it.
Okay.
And so the build that I did for my son and then what we generalized for Augie was, you're never going to fix this problem because the incentives are not aligned for them to want to share the data. So if you're going to build a silo, it should be the individual. And the
Wow.
individual should get all their records,
Yeah.
learn from all their records, and then be able to share it with every doctor they go to thereafter. So you should have full portability and ownership of your health data. And so that was it was like initially just this protocol and this paradigm shift of like, you can't fix all these people that are trying to monetize health data and don't want to share it. So what you can do is you can go get all that data and let the individual own everything. And that's going to make for an inherently better system because then anytime you go to a doctor, you share all your records and you learn from all your records.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're taking back control and over your health.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
the three things that we promise at AugiHealth, like our mission is I want to democratize ownership, insights, and portability of your whole health history. So that means any wearable, any health records, anywhere they are, we want you to get everything in one place. I want you to be able to learn from it and arm yourselves with important knowledge. And then I want to be the bridge between you and all your doctors moving forward so that you can easily, within a click, share your records with any provider who you trust to be on your care team. And that can be parents of kiddos who are on the spectrum, right? We have dependents. They can as they get older, they can share it with us. If you have a caretaker and you're older, that's your proxy. You can share it with them. We actually are agnostic to A, where you want to bring data in from, and B, who you want to share data with. Because I think fundamentally that's this other big problem where it's like, we in no way want to replace doctors and medical advice should be given by medical professionals.
Yeah.
However, it's my data. And if I want to share it
Right.
with my mom, or if I want to
Or
share
like
it,
a naturopath.
or a naturopath, or like some people are like, my chiropractor knows my body better
Yeah.
than you should be able to share it with
You
your
should
chiropractor.
show your chiropractor your blood work.
It's your
Okay.
discretion. It's
Yes.
entirely your discretion. So we
Yeah.
have this very fundamental belief that like, it's your data. You should move it and be able to share it with whomever you want, whenever you want. And we should continuously be arming you with the type of insights that only the ultra wealthy can afford. And we use AI, BAA, so like it's fully HIPAA compliant, encrypted end to end, but we use Anthropic that has the best citational guardrails and the best measures to give you those insights within Augie. So the goal is like, how can I get a single mom that's making $50,000 a year to have the same ownership, insights, and portability as a super wealthy executive who has a whole care team and a concierge aide managing all that data flow. And if you can do that, then you reshape the whole paradigm where like now it's all about, okay, well now we just have to figure out how to get the same type of services and tests to that mom, but she owns everything already and she knows everything. And so she's armed with the
all
most
in one
important, and it's all in
place.
one place for convenience, but it's the knowledge is power notion, right? It's like,
Yeah.
that's the start. You start with this kernel of like, I should own it. I should learn about it easily and I should be able to share it with whomever I want. And then we start to figure out, okay, how do we add services that are just like more affordable for everybody to it?
Wow.
So it was really like a protocol to start more than a business.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because you needed it
100%.
and it served you well. And then it's like, oh my gosh.
Thanks to ACORNS for sponsoring this episode. Okay, can we talk about why I avoided investing for so long? because I genuinely thought you needed to be like a Wall Street guy in a suit, and I just have this fake fur coat on. And I definitely didn't have enough money, or at least that's what I told myself. Plus, I was like, I don't understand stocks. I don't get bonds. I'm just going to mess this up. And so I did nothing, which, spoiler alert, is also messing up. But then I started using ACORNS, and honestly, I felt like an idiot for waiting so long because it turns out you don't need to be rich or some finance genius. You just need to start. And watching my money actually have a chance to grow instead of just sitting there, that feeling hits different. So many of us only focus on where our money is today. Acorns is the financial wellness app that cares about where your money is going tomorrow. Because here's the thing. Acorns is a smart way to give your money a chance to grow. It's ridiculously easy. You can sign up in minutes and start automatically investing your spare money, even if all you have is spare change. Like, I'm talking money you normally lose in your couch cushions. And Acorns grows with you. Whether you're just starting out or thinking about settling down, it supports your big and small goals across every life stage. The Acorns Potential screen shows you the power of compounding and how your money could grow over time. Plus, you can quickly adjust how much you're investing every day, week, or month to make sure you're building towards your goals. And it's all in one. No more finance apps cluttering up your phone. With Acorns, you can invest, save, and give your money a chance to grow in one trusted place. Man, I love Acorns. I really do. I like that acorns become oak trees, and the money I put in this app means I'm going to go to Hawaii one day. What I love most about Acorns, it takes all the intimidation out of investing. Like the roundups feature, game changer. Every time I buy something, it rounds up to the nearest dollar and invests the difference automatically. That's genius. So I'm literally investing without even thinking about it. And I love not thinking. It's perfect for someone like me who would otherwise spend that money on, I don't know, another house plant or a fake fur coat. I look like I'm going to a fundraiser. I'm not. Sign up now and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/idiot or download the Acorns app to get started. Disclosures must read verbatim at 2 times speed if possible. I didn't need to read that bit. Paid non-client endorsement compensation provided. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as consumers' accounts, age, and investment settings. Does not include Acorns fees. Results do not predict or represent the performance of any Acorns portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/idiot.
You're right. The system is so flawed. I mean, I struggle. I have ADHD. I struggle to find, like, especially with 2 kids and one on the spectrum, and then me, it's just a lot to manage. It's a lot to handle, you know?
I get it.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
get it.
but the new patient form, you put that in there and then what?
Well, so that's so there's 2 sides to Augie as an app, right? There's the doctor facing side,
Yeah.
and then there's the patient facing side. And so what's so magic about what we've built is like the user gets all these benefits from getting all their stuff, but we then share it with your doctor. And when we show what we've built to doctors, they're blown away because
Really?
yeah, because we create a full chart and history of like all of your labs and all of your panels, and it's from these fragmented places. So like if I'm a doctor and I'm looking at Laura's health record, I can see, oh, she got, let me look at her LDL history. Oh, I can see it from a Cerner lab, and then I can see it from a Quest lab, and then she did Function Health, and then she did Superpower Health. And I see the whole tracking, but in one easy longitudinal trend line,
Yeah.
which is not how healthcare works today. They have to go and find each lab and look biomarker by biomarker. There is no interoperability. So we standardize all that health history in a single view so that your doctors can actually act on it. And part of that tool
Yeah.
is the new patient onboarding form, which is we have all that data for the user. So anytime a
So I
doctor's
don't have to fill out a new
never
one
again.
every time.
In principle, never again. So
That's enough for me. I'll download it.
the doctor
That's
goes,
it.
hey,
I hate those forms.
we use Augie, join our practice, and then they get all that data, but then they also send you a new patient form. And all of the standard questions that come in a new patient form, we just auto-populate for you. We answer them, and then they have 3 extra questions where they're like, Laura, I'm specifically curious about like, how's your new prescription and how's this new therapy going?
Whoa.
You answer those, and then you don't answer the tedious 50 questions you've answered 100 times ever again. I know, nice, right? We want to kill the new patient onboarding form.
I hate it.
Me too.
I hate those forms.
Well, it's just like kill the clipboard kind of thing. And people have been saying it for 30 years.
Yes. And then, your kids as well. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, this is so incredible. It's so hilarious to me that you went from an actor to this.
There were 2 businesses in between, but pretty much.
Wow. And then where did you grow up?
I grew up in LA. I was born in France. And then
France?
In Paris, yeah.
Do you speak French?
C'est ma première langue.
Really?
Mais oui, je suis français. Oh yeah. But my dad is French, my mom's American. They met there. Very cute love story.
Well, tell it. I love a good love story.
My mom's best friend was like a foreign student, like studying abroad, staying with a host family.
Okay.
That host family was my dad's best friend's family. And my dad's best friend, who was my godfather, who's since passed away, he's over at my dad's house and he's like, Jean-Maurice, I'm going to say it in French accent because it's how they talk. Jean-Maurice, there is this American girl. She's staying with me. You need to meet her. And my dad had just broken up with like his 8-year-long partner. And he was like, oh, I don't want to meet her. And she's American. I don't want to meet her. and Thierry was like, no. You need to meet this girl. She's beautiful. You're going to love her. And he's like, oh, I don't want to meet her. He goes, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to invite them over for apéro, which is like, little cocktails and little snacks. And you're just going to meet her because you got to get back in the dating scene, buddy. And if you like her, when we're leaving, I'll say, Jean-Maurice, do you want me to turn off the table lamp? And if you say yes, then we know we're going to get one drink and you say you have to go to work the next day and we'll go off. But if you say, no, leave the table lamp on, it's fine, then we know that you're going to like her. And he goes, fine, whatever.
That's so cute.
So they come over, they're hosting the thing. My dad's like getting up already and there's a knock at the door. And Thierry's like, go answer it. He's like, you invited them, you go answer it. He's like, go answer it. So he goes and he answers the door. And from Thierry's account, he answers the door and there's like 10 seconds of silence where they're just like staring at each other. And then they moved in together, I think like a week later, and 2 years later had me, then my brother, and then they got divorced. But it's a wonderful love story.
You're like, but I'm here because
love
of
at first sight. Yeah, but I'm here because of it.
Yeah.
So is my brother. Yeah.
Whoa. And then
when I was 2, they moved to LA and I was raised in LA, like West Hollywood. And I started acting at 12.
Did you live with your mom or your dad?
Mostly my mom and then my dad on weekends. Yeah, and my dad moved back to France when I was like 14, and so I've always gone back and forth a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 2008. My dad's an architect, and in 2008 there was like no work in the U.S., so he moved back to France and has had an awesome career as an architect there.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got into acting.
And I got into acting.
Why'd
at
you
12.
get into that? Just because you lived in LA?
I lived
and
in
that's what you do?
Kind of like I just wanted to be Tom Cruise and Downey. My best friend's dad as a kid was Robert Downey Jr.
That's the most LA shit I've ever heard.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just by happenstance, I was getting in a lot of trouble after their divorce. I was getting expelled from schools at like 8 or 9. I had a lot of like behavioral stuff.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I was angry.
Why?
I was just mad. I think it's like full on a child I was the oldest son, and I think I blamed myself for not being able to keep them together in a way at the time. Not anymore, but at the time. And
how old were you when they divorced?
7.
Okay.
And I was just acting out. I was just like getting into trouble. I liked pushing. I was never a bad kid. Like I never did anything that was like bullying other kids. That was not my style. But I was like, ooh, what rules can we break? Like I had a problem with authority.
Same.
And so I would get expelled, and then my mom was eventually like, I don't know, I got to put him in this private school. And
what'd you get expelled for?
When I was 7, I did a lot of things. I started a little mafia that stole Pokemon cards. But it was a
Mhm.
very sophisticated system.
Really?
We were trading cards, and then I taught all these kids how to like steal cards, and I divvy out the cards at the end. And then finally I got in trouble. I got caught, and they asked me to bring in all the cards, and I brought like a bin of cards in to the vice principal's office, and they were like, "Why?" And I kid you not, at least my memory, I looked
Yeah.
dead at the vice principal and I said, "Blame it on the divorce." They were like, "We don't know what to do with this kid. He's
You
precocious,
did
but
it.
this is a problem." And I went to private school, and then I
No.
met Indio, who was like my childhood best friend, and his dad was Robert. And I just like thought he was the coolest person ever. And I was like, that's what I want to do for a living. And then I did that for 12 years. Worked a
And
bunch.
what was that like?
Acting.
Yeah. But
Um,
as a kid.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was actually kind of embarrassed about it because I ended up doing a lot of like teen shows where I was like the teen heartthrob guy. And
That's
my friends
really
would like make
funny.
fun of me for it, and they were
Oh.
like, "You're so lame. That's so dumb." And so
Jealous.
I was
They
maybe
were
yeah
jealous.
probably, but I was embarrassed about it. And I don't know. I had a great time. Like, do you know Taylor Sheridan? Taylor Sheridan created Yellowstone. He did Sicario, Hell or High Water,
Okay.
Wind River.
Okay.
Probably the biggest showrunner in Hollywood today.
Okay.
He's done all the Yellowstone shows.
Okay.
He was my acting teacher when
Oh,
I was
wow.
13 years old. And he was this like an actor, and he became this acting coach, and he was a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
And then I remember when he was 17, he was like, "I'm done being an acting coach. I wrote this thing, but I'm just moving to like Montana or Idaho. I'm done with Hollywood." And it ended up being Sicario, which was like an Oscar-winning film.
Wow.
So I had a lot of like cool experiences and got to work a lot. And then I had my son. I found out I was having a son at 25.
Wow.
And just
25.
yeah, I was young. I had him when I was 26, but I found out at 25. And
I'm assuming it wasn't planned, but maybe I'm wrong.
no, it was a big surprise.
Big surprise.
Big surprise. Best surprise ever, but big
Surprise.
surprise. Yeah, surprise.
But at the time,
your life's different now forever.
Yeah. At the time, it probably wasn't the best surprise ever. Or it was, I don't know. You tell me.
I've always known that I wanted to be a dad. And I've always felt excited about the prospect of being a dad. I just didn't think it was going to happen that young. And so, yeah, I mean, when I first found out, I was like, because it wasn't planned, I was terrified.
Sure.
But after, 3-4 months, it was just, okay, well, this is happening. So not 3-4 months of the pregnancy, not him being born. I was just like, okay, let's go. I'm in. I'm going to figure this out. And it ended up being the greatest thing that ever happened to me because it reframed like my ambitions and my goals in life and was a big part of why I stopped acting. Not that I don't love acting, but I was just like, I saw the writing on the wall. There's AI is coming, COVID, there's not a single audition. I can't be relying on this. And I started a logistics company at that time that did super well. And
How did that come about?
it was at the start of COVID, and there were compliance officers needed on every production. And I knew a bunch of producers, and I saw that you could get the training to be compliance officers. And I had a lot of friends that were out of work. So I paid for all of them to go get the training and then would staff them on productions with a network of producers I knew, and then found out.
You just had this idea?
Yeah. I was like, this is a made up job. And it turned out it was a made up job. And I could get my friends to get the job and the credentials needed. And then I was making good money at that. And I would go on the set and act like the supervisor. And I'd be like, well, how can I make this? Like, how can I, what else can we do to service, your productions and help you? And they were like, these antigen tests, we're getting charged $200 by doctors per test right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that seems unreasonably high. And I looked on the boxes of who made the tests, and I called them. And I was like, hey, I run this like compliance company here in LA. We're trying to get tests for productions, and we have nurses who are administering them and all that. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll sell them to anybody. And I go, great. And how much are they? Can you give me a good deal? And they were like, yeah, well, they start at $5 per test. We're federally mandated to sell them there. And then they go down the more you buy. And I was like, do you have any idea what they're being sold for here? And they go, oh, we can't control the middle market, but like we have a federal mandate to sell these to anyone for that amount of money. And I was like, I will take as many as I possibly can get. And then I called every nurse that I knew and got them staffed at my company.
You just knew a bunch of nurses?
Yeah, from doing those shoots, because we would meet the nurses that were doing it for doctors. And then I called the heads of sourcing at Sony, Warner, Paramount, and because we worked with them for the compliance side. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, we have this great deal with the testing companies, with the labs making the tests, and I have nurses that can administer. I can get you the tests for half of what you're paying today. And I'll have nurses only administer them, and we'll use the logistics company we built for zoning and all that. But I need your business for California for at least a year, like exclusively, to make that price work. And so we got that, and that worked out pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, and then after about a year and a half, everyone was like, "This is dumb, and it's not helping more than it is hurting." Like it's just a
What's not helping?
Well, I think everyone got to the point where, like we were 3 years into COVID and the mask mandate was
Yeah.
far more strict in California than everyone else. And I ended up like sunsetting the company well before we could have made much more money on it. But I was just like, we're not a part of the solution anymore. There was a point where I was like, everyone is scared and this is helping get
Yeah.
people back to work and get
Yeah.
paid. And then there was a point where I just felt like we were kind of exploiting and it didn't feel right. And I just wanted to do something else.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is around the time that she's pregnant with.
No, my
No,
son was
sorry.
already born. My son was born. I started that
right,
company
right. Okay,
when my
yes.
son was 2 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, before that I had like $3,000 in my bank account and I had no idea what I was going to do, having only had a resume of being an actor and a screenwriter for my whole life. Yeah.
And so you kind of stopped getting into trouble because sorry, just to go back to your grammar school days, you were getting expelled and
Yeah.
hated authority. But it sounds like you got on a really good path. How did that happen?
I think I had multiple wake-up calls. I got in trouble for having pot in college and
How dare you?
I know I had some weed. I got roped into something that was much bigger that I had nothing to do with, and I spent like 4 nights in jail.
Oh my God.
Because when you get arrested
Why?
in New York, because there was it was nothing to do with me, but there was a young girl who had like passed away at Syracuse University because she had taken mushrooms. And
From mushrooms?
yeah, she jumped out of her window
Oh,
on mushrooms.
shit. Okay.
And I'd never met this person, but her roommate had bought weed from me. And so they did this broad drug crackdown at school. And I ended up getting roped into it. And it's very different in New York and California. If you get arrested on a Friday, you don't get an arraignment until a Monday. So I was like booked on a Friday morning and spent the whole weekend in a drunk tank in Onondaga County Jail, and didn't leave jail essentially until Tuesday. So that was a big wake up call for me. And then
and what did that do? Did that help get you sober? Did that get you sober?
Well, I was just like, before that, despite having a problem with authority and still breaking the rules, and like, yeah, I was getting weed flown in because at that time I smoked weed and I would sell it to friends if they wanted it. Like I was just like, you are risking so much potential by doing dumb things
Yes.
only to prove that you can get away with them. And that was a big thing. And then when I found out I was having a son, that was another huge wake up call. And I think it was just gradually I grew up.
Yeah, your prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, it was starting to
then
develop a bit.
Develops.
And I realized I don't ever want to find myself in jail or in destitute. And my son was a really big wake up call. And then I got sober when my son was about 6 months old. And that was another big wake up call. Yeah.
How was the newborn phase for you?
It was really intense, to be honest. Because his mom battled with a lot of mental health issues. And postpartum was really rough for her. And so I ended up having him alone from like week 6 to month 5. So I was alone with my kiddo. And it's one of those things where it was like the most beautiful thing in the world because I got this experience that most dads don't get.
Yeah.
From week 6 till about month 5, I was like formula feeding every 3 hours and waking up every 3 hours and doing it all by myself with a little help from my mom and my brother. And then month 5, we started to work back up to like a 50-50 custody
Where
situation.
was she in that?
I don't know. She had struggled with a lot of mental health stuff, borderline, and then I think postpartum. And I think she knew that our relationship wasn't going to work. And so she was trying to get her own feet underneath her because we were in California. There was no way I was going to let her leave California and make it so that I couldn't be with my son. And so I think she needed the time to figure out her own stuff and get
Yeah.
like an apartment and her life together. And I was always helping, but when she bailed, she kind of bailed and then came
Oof.
back. And yeah, so it was hard, but it was also beautiful, but it was hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really incredibly hard, but I'm sure the bond you have with Augie is like,
Yeah, he's like my best friend.
oh my
My
God.
little guy.
Yeah. And so then month 5, she came back and you arranged a sort of 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah, more or less. We worked up to it because I wasn't just gonna be like, okay, now let's be 50-50. I had some reservations, but I also there was a moment where the police were like, you should get this emergency protective order and
Oh my
take full custody. And I didn't want to do that. It was a tough call, but I was like, I'm not going to rob my kid of his mom, and I'm not going to rob her of her son. Like, I understand what she's going through, and this might be a nightmare for me for the next 20 years, but this relationship is bigger than me, than their relationship. And so I was just like, I will
And you didn't think she was a threat.
absolutely not.
Right.
No,
Like
well,
in my case, like there were, every case is different.
Every
Sometimes
case
you
is
have
different.
to do that.
I didn't think she was at that time
Sure.
responsible. And I didn't think that she was in a place where she was ready to be a parent. But I didn't like putting our kid in like direct harm's way. No, but
Yeah.
it was always kind of a touch and go thing. And then
Yeah.
when she
get that.
at 5 months, I was like, if you are 100% in, then I am 100% in on getting us back to 50-50. And like, there's nothing I want more than for him to have his mom, for you to be in that life and that role. And like, let's do this together. And then you're just co-parenting, which is, it takes 2 to tango. And that's tricky too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it a trip?
It's really hard. It can
We've
be really
got
hard.
a lot in common, actually.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really hard. It's really hard. Yeah. And then we did that for about 3 years.
And he just turned 6 now.
And Augie just turned 6. Yeah. Yeah.
How
He's
was
the best
that?
kid.
How was the birthday?
Really fun. We went to this little zoo. It's like a private zoo. People can go and see it, but it's not like a big city zoo. And so they brought out all these animals, and we brought out his birthday cake, and in very Augie fashion, after the happy birthday song, he just went face first and started eating the cake. Yeah. It was
That's
great.
great. It's his cake.
It's his cake.
can
It's his
do that.
birthday. Yeah, your birthday. You can go face first in the cake.
But having a child really does focus you in a pretty profound way, doesn't it? It really does.
There's nothing like it.
No.
Well, for
And-
me, at least, I would just
Yeah.
realize like you start to think about legacy, and you start to think about life outside of yourself. It's the most
Yes.
ego crushing thing because it's not you are no longer the priority. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big change. It's a big growth.
But amazing. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so backtrack. So when he was 2, that is when you started seeing signs.
Yeah.
And what were those?
Well, with Augie, it's really interesting. He was ahead on every single milestone. Like he walked early, he babbled early, he crawled early, he sat up on his own early. His physical motor skills were always really good. And around 1.5, there was just a plateau. And I wouldn't say there was a necessary like regression, but it just plateaued. He just didn't continue to make the same speech development that like a neurotypical kid would make. And so at around, I think 18 months, maybe almost 2 years, we went and got a psych evaluation.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, it's really young, but definitely some signs. We'll give you the diagnosis so that you can get reimbursement for stuff and go get some services because speech therapy can't hurt. And then
Clapping and pointing, was he doing that or?
oh yeah, I mean
he was?
Yeah, and sometimes he'd walk on his tippy toes, and sometimes he'd like
But clapping and not clapping and pointing is the sign.
not clapping and pointing.
Yes. I know. It's like
He would point.
He would point.
He would point.
Would he hand lead?
Like when he pulls you to take you somewhere?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah.
It's the cutest thing.
It's the sweetest.
Alfie will still hand lead. I mean,
Really?
he uses his
Augie
words. But
still does that. Augie still comes and gets
do you
me.
think like when they're adults, they'll just right this way?
Just a stranger be like, hey, please come with me? Maybe.
And then when you say hi, Augie, does he ever go, hi, Augie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of echolalic language sometimes.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Okay. So no pointing, clapping, that's a thing. And then it wasn't a regression, but it was it was
a plateau.
A plateau.
Yeah. And maybe there were some moments where, the biggest regression, we took him to this place, Kids Connect, which is kind of where I modeled the protocol for AugiHealth after, because it's like this incredible program at UCLA where they have, it's all clinical oversight. They have an early childhood developmental scientist who leads a team of like a speech pathologist, a behavioral therapist, an occupational therapist, and they're all working in conjunction with each other.
But you got the psych eval and then they diagnosed him as what?
Having autism.
But did they say like level this or?
I didn't get that. No.
You didn't get any. Okay.
To my understanding,
Okay.
yeah, I don't remember ever having like a level thing. I think that because of his age too, being so young, they might have been reticent to like give it. But they said, I got the diagnosis, which let me get him into Kids Connect.
Got it. Okay. So then you go to Kids Connect and what was that?
Well, it was just, he went from almost entirely nonverbal to saying 20, 30 words.
Yeah.
Right. And his tacting was really good.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw a regression because he was in this really, really structured environment.
And
12 weeks.
I interrupted you before. Yeah. So it's 12 weeks, OT, speech.
12 weeks, OT, speech, early developmental psychologist, neuroscientist, behavioral therapist. Like they're all working in conjunction
from like
as a
8
team.
to 2 every day.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And all these specialties are weighing each other and working as a team on behalf of the kids that are there. Beautiful program. It's only 12 weeks and then they leave. And the moment they leave, they're not in that structured environment anymore. And that's when I saw him have made all this progress and really regress. And I was like, oh my God, I need to replicate something that is this efficient because it clearly, right? It's clearly more, it's not like they leave you holding the bag. The transition plan from that place is great too. They find you all the best vendors, and fortunately speech is not often covered by insurance. So you're like spending a fortune, but you've got a care team. You don't leave with nothing. Like you get your kid into the best, but those doctors that aren't in one clinical setting don't talk to each other.
Totally.
And so I was like, I need to make up the difference of like the executive and administrative faculty of making these people work on behalf of my kid as opposed to just like working in their own little silos. And that was kind of the catalyst for doing everything with AugiHealth.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's when you developed it. And then you saw after that, after like 6 months of implementing that, you saw a big.
Oh, I just saw, ever since it's been
an explosion.
Yeah. Ever since it's been like progress, we've been progressing.
Do you find that he still regresses from time to time? Because I know with my son, like you could say he's verbal now. Like he strings sentences together, expresses his wants and needs. He's not conversational, but he's.
Yeah. It's probably very similar. Augie's a stage 3 Gestalt processor. So like stage 4 is kind of where they start to learn neurotypical building blocks. And Augie's like right almost there, but same idea, right? It's like, I can tell you what I want. I can tell you whether I don't want something. I can label anything and recreate phrases. But if you ask me how my day was, I don't understand what you're asking. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I think they might understand.
They might.
I'm just not going to tell you.
They might.
They don't see the utility in it.
That could be it.
But let's go for a walk.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you find that he still regresses from time to time? Because I know with Alfie, specifically when he's ill, he'll regress.
Oh, interesting.
And it's never not terrifying. Yeah.
I mean, I regress often.
No, I think about that. I think about that. Like when you're sick, you probably
I'm
regressed.
I think.
But have you noticed that with Augie?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I think that, I think that it's never, nothing's ever linear.
Yeah.
In that way. Like it's 10 steps forward, 3 steps back. So long as you're going in the right direction. I believe from having done a tremendous amount of research, having spoken to the heads of HHS and CMS about this and like feeling like it to some degree I've become a non-medical expert on autism. I think that it is such a perfect storm that leads to autism. I don't think that it is in a vacuum of exclusively genetics or an MMR vaccine or Tylenol or anything. It's
You don't
really
think it's Tylenol?
don't get me started. What I do think it is that there's clearly a connection to the gut, the inflammation in the body and the brain, mitochondria, and that there are a plethora of elements that directly inform those connections throughout the body. And it's like every parent that has a kid on the spectrum, you end up creating your own system that is both intervention therapy focused as well as what can I do from a physical standpoint to help with those root causes that might improve the reduction in inflammation and the ability to be regulated so that the reception of those therapies is heightened.
And what are some things that you implement that help with
I mean, I've gone the gambit.
inflammation?
I've spoken to every naturopathic doctor that works with kids on autism and talked about reduction in inflammation. I've explored stem cells,
But
although
and
I haven't done it.
with the naturopath? What did they recommend? What's worked?
So there's been a lot of different gut supplement compounds, like things that you put in
And
smoothies.
does it work?
Some of them totally not. Recently, I've been trying these little I'm spacing on the name of it, and I don't want to. There's a nutrient dense. It stems from broccoli, but it's like the synthesis of a couple different vitamins in broccoli that you can get in gummy form.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually found that incredibly helpful.
Dang, and gummy, so they'll eat it.
It's in gummies,
'Cause it
and they
looks
taste
like
kind of like broccoli, and
candy?
I've gotten Augie to be eating them. And this is
Really?
like not a plug, by the way. I just want to be. This is not like a
It's not sponsored
Yeah,
by
there's no
this
sponsoring
brand
here.
that
I'm
we
just
can't
telling
even remember.
because so many of these things don't work, and people will sell
Bro.
you snake oil
Yo.
and exploit your desperation to help your kid and be like, this is the. I've literally sat with an osteopath doctor who was like a Harvard MD. And she was like, oh, there's a cranial abnormality from the birth canal. And what you need to do is osteopathy for the next 6 months.
No.
And she's like, and it's definitely a vaccine injury and the whole thing. And I was just sitting there and I said in the room, I was like, I'm genuinely trying to gauge whether I think you are insane or trying to exploit me for money right now. And she was like,
Did you
oh, I
say-
get that reaction a lot. And I was like, I'm not shocked by that at all. Because they just, people are shameless. And if they can get money out of you, or sometimes maybe they genuinely believe that what they're saying is, but it has no basis. So I don't know. I've done it all. Recently, those
Wow.
gummies have been really helpful.
In
Because
what
I think,
way?
well, I think that it's been, what I've noticed is less, and it hasn't been like some drastic thing, but
Sure.
I've noticed much more communication
Yeah.
and less like clouded thinking. Because a lot of the time, it's like it's really an executive functioning thing. The best metaphor I've thought of, and you probably can relate to this with Alfie, is like, it's like a filing cabinet. And kids that are on the spectrum, when they find a file they like, whew, move back, because we are about to get an expert on that file. And I can pull from that
Totally.
file any day. But when, a neurotypical person, you can sift through the files quickly and be like,
Yeah.
oh yes, I remember this piece of information. They have a harder time looking through the files. So it's their ability to look through the files
Wow.
that you're trying to, reduce physical symptoms to alleviate and support interventions that help them just get through files of their mind and memory. And so I've noticed that that's been a little easier.
Okay. Less fog.
Yeah, and otherwise we've been doing 4 hours of speech therapy, and before he started kindergarten, it was 35 hours of ABA a week. So it was like 40 hours a week. He's basically been in school since he was 2.5, just doing
And
therapy in clinics.
Yeah, with ABA, it's like a strangely controversial therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand why. I get
You
it.
do, yeah.
Well, I think firstly, like ABA originates from training birds, getting like a Pavlovian response
Yes.
from like birds.
It's like dog training.
Yeah, and we are not birds. And so right on the basis, like you could see how there might be some limits, but
Isn't there some links to like gay conversion therapy?
there might be, I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure.
It.
Yeah.
I ruined my kid.
God.
I would not mind at all if Augie were gay, so there would be no need. But there, although I don't think he is, he's quite fond of ladies when he meets them. But we'll see. But the
same with Alfie. He's got an obsession with his teacher, and I had to go into the principal's office
and
because
have a
he's
conversation,
so obsessed
a
because
little
he's staring
handsy.
at her breasts
Oh,
and
man.
like, and he talks about her all day. Like when we lay in bed, he goes, "Miss A's sleeping right now." And I'm like, yeah, Miss A's sleeping. Yeah, she probably
Yeah,
is.
she's probably asleep.
I'm in the shower. He comes in, he goes, "Miss A showering?" I'm like, no. It's just, but he talks about her all day. Miss A's
Wow.
busy right now. Miss A's busy right now. Like he's just thinking about this. Yeah, it's really sweet. And he just gives her long hugs. The issue was not the long hugs, just that when other kids would try to work with her, he would get a little.
He is a little jealous and protective.
Yes,
yeah. That's my mistake. Totally understand. I forgot what I was saying.
No, I
forgot what was
know.
saying.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
But yeah. Oh, gay conversion, ABA.
Oh, ABA.
Right.
No, my thing with
Yeah, tell
ABA
me.
is I think it's really effective, actually.
Yeah.
But the problem that we found with it, and I work with now ABA clinics that are very forward-thinking ABA clinics with AugiHealth. I think that ABA is phenomenal and has its place. There are lots of accounts of those kids, which every parent on the spectrum has heard, where it's like, it was traumatic to do 40 hours of ABA my whole childhood.
Well, and they used to like electric shock
right.
them.
Not
They've
okay.
come a long way.
Not okay. I think that here was my experience. My experience with ABA was when you find a really great clinic and a really great BCBA, a behavioral therapist, that understands the kid and also understands sort of their speech modality, Augie's Gestalt language, then...
Can you explain what Gestalt language is for...
Oh, God. Yeah, I can.
In one sentence.
It's hard to explain is the thing. Think of it as neurotypical people learn words as building blocks to phrases. Gestalt language processors learns phrases and has to then understand that the words are interchangeable in those phrases. So they ascribe a phrase to a feeling, or they ascribe a phrase to a situation. So they might say like
yeah,
like they love the movie Toy Story,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Hi ho, Silver," when they're just excited that you gave them an ice cream, and they're saying like, "I love ice cream," but it's really
Yeah.
"Hi ho, Silver," because they like
totally
have that connection.
There's a boy in Alfie's class every day when I drop him off, he comes up to me and he goes, "There's no school on Saturday. There's no school on Saturday. There's no school on Saturday."
Amazing.
And yeah.
Yes.
And like that is just his script right now.
Yes.
And it's him saying like, "I'm happy."
Yes.
Right?
And so you have to, that modality is all about like in stages, teaching them how to replace the words from the scripts they know. And then beyond that, learn entirely new scripts. And then beyond that, understand that words are the foundations to building ideas, thoughts, and phrases. And so that's that.
Okay.
For ABA,
Yeah.
what I noticed with Augie was like, it's the insurance covered therapy. So it's the
Right.
one you do the most because you
Right.
can get 30 hours a week of it. And after about 6 months of using my protocol home with him and seeing him in ABA, like he was able to go light, table, bed, room, daddy. Hey, Augie, how old are you? And he goes, "I'm 5.
Oh, that's
And you go,
great.
"What's daddy's phone number?" Beep, 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 beep. And he repeats it and he can tell you all these things. And you're like, wow, my son's learning to speak. But then you realize, you go, "Hey, Augie, how old is Yoshi, our dog?" And he goes, "I'm 5. And you realize, okay, you're learning things, but they're entirely rigid to the prompt that you're being given. So there's no fluidity to the things I'm basically teaching you scripts.
Yes.
So that when you hear a prompt like a robot, you go, "Da-da."
Yes.
And it's like, it's validating as a parent because you're like, my kid's communicating, but then you realize it's stuck in a very rigid system. And mind you, like some of the best ABA therapists I know and I'm talking to at Augie acknowledge this. And they're like, yes, there needs to be much more elasticity around how it's implemented because the therapies are effective. What you just don't want to find is rigidity. And what is also true is like a Gestalt language processor it can be very counterproductive to learn in that rigid fashion because it's the opposite of what you're trying to do with a Gestalt language process. Like a speech pathologist that understands GLP is like you're actually trying to create as much fluidity as possible. You're trying to give them new scripts. You're trying to give them elastic thinking and usage of words. And then ABA is all about like this rigid, like I say this and you say that. They're very,
But
there's a lot of
ABA is
friction.
also behavioral
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
So it's not just speech, but
No.
you're saying the way that they teach speech. And isn't it like, what do you think is so
I would
controversial
say,
about ABA?
well, I think that, you know, the application of ABA is a lot of repetition, right?
Or is it true that they say like, if you don't do this thing, you don't get this toy. You have to do this thing to get this toy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of quid pro quo, but it's for me,
Rewards.
it's like the repetition is probably what is so stressful for the
Okay.
kids. It's like
Okay.
you've got them sitting at a desk,
Okay.
the
Okay.
same thing over and over and over again. And like, that's not how children learn. Like they are I don't care what your kid wants to be free and play and go, and it's a very structured, intense setting.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, I mean, from the accounts that I've heard where kids with autism were like, it was traumatic.
Yeah.
It's because it's like, I didn't want to be doing that. You know, like they were forcing me to
And
sit at
almost
this
like
desk and
bribing me
yeah,
to do the thing.
absolutely.
Like they're finding your favorite things, right? And then using that. But it does work. It's just you have to be very careful with it. Like a lot of people won't use food because they find it will create some sort of eating disorders in the future. Like if you withhold a type of food from a kid, you have to do this action and then you get this food.
Yeah.
They start having this weird relationship with food, right? And then as they get older, it's like, well, now I can just have food whenever I want. I don't have to say the thing or do the thing. And then so it's just being aware of that.
Sure.
But I've also heard, I know for me, we tried ABA a bit when Alfie was 2, because just like you, again, it was like it seemed typically developing. And then around 18 months, just before 2 years, I felt it was more of a regression. Like there were words he would say monkey doggy. Those were like he just loved talking about monkeys and doggies, but like, and mommy and daddy and milk. He had those words.
Uh-huh.
And then they were gone. Monkey doggy.
Mommy, daddy, milk.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's it. But monkey doggy was very much like, I guess you could call it a vocal stim.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was happy, it was just monkey doggy for years, monkey doggy. And there was no monkey or doggy in sight. But anyway, he did have a bit of a regression, and I still don't know why. I don't have an answer for why. But what was my point? Oh, so we got him the psych eval 2, and then he was diagnosed just before 2, and we did attempt ABA, and it just, for him, he almost seemed to be worse. Like he hated it, you know? And so we stopped, and then I just kind of did play-based speech OT. So it's not like he didn't do therapy. He did. It was just ABA for whatever reason. I even had like one of the best ABA therapists like fly in to help him. And Mary Barbera, do you know who that is?
I know the name. Yeah,
she wrote books on it.
Yeah.
And I fucking flew her out. I'm like, move in, help me. I need help, you know?
And what did she say?
Dude, after working with him for one day, she's like,
I don't think so.
Yeah, she was like, none of this is working.
Interesting.
Isn't it? And so maybe it's just not for every kid, right? So it's just, but now I'm going to meet with an ABA therapist actually tomorrow because of the eloping that started.
Oh, sure.
That safety.
Well,
I need help with safety.
I think that's a big, the behavioral side of it.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
Is different. Generally speaking, high level, I think my view on it is I used to do a lot of martial arts. To use an analogy. And we would talk a lot when I did martial arts about like the UFC and like which martial arts are the best martial arts. And the truth that every really senior skilled martial artist will tell you is like, you can have a phenomenal system and a bad execution of that system, and it's not going to do credit to the system, and vice versa. You can have a terrible system, but a phenomenal athlete who does the very best version of it. And like that can still be a lethal person.
Sure.
And so I think that ABA is an effective system that when you have a really skilled and aware therapist that is considering things like, how does this kiddo learn language? And what's going on beyond this? And how do I implement this into a way that the kid actually wants to engage with me on?
Yeah.
It can be wonderful.
Right.
And I think that the whole ideology and the whole practice of ABA has evolved a lot over the last
Yes.
few years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Augie at the time when he was doing ABA, he didn't have many. Like he had the behavioral stuff of like when he would get very upset, he would like throw himself on the ground, but it
Okay.
was never super self-harming.
Okay.
And I never had any sort of like intense sensory stuff. He does this very adorable thing with his eyes. When he gets overwhelmed, he's kind of like,
Oh, yes.
or like he looks away, but I kind of do that too,
Oh,
you know? And so like I
yeah.
understand like, oh, you just like trying to
Yeah.
get a reset.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've always thought that there's a part of him that's like when I close my eyes, nobody can see me. Like I go away, like everyone's
Yeah,
I'm invisible.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So he didn't have a ton of behavioral, but I think for that stuff, it probably is effective too. I just haven't had to, I haven't had to explore it. I haven't had to do it. With
That's
him yet.
really great.
Yeah.
And you don't really experience the meltdowns so much.
I mean, he has meltdowns like any kid.
Okay.
For sure he has
Yeah.
meltdowns. I'm a little tough with the meltdowns where
Tell me, how do you handle it?
well, unless it's clear and I'm pretty attuned to what's going on, like unless he's having a serious sensory overload, a meltdown is more often I'm not getting what I want. And my parenting style is not like, okay, you lead, you get. I'm like, fine, I have a meltdown. The rule is no.
Yeah.
We've said no
Yeah.
to this, so you're not getting. No, you can't have a popsicle for breakfast, or like no,
Right.
like I'm sorry,
Right.
hands down, no.
Yeah.
But I love you, and if
Yeah.
you want to talk about it, or if you need a hug, like I'm right here, buddy. Like you're supported and loved, but
Yeah.
the answer is no.
Yeah.
And so I don't really like. I don't know.
Does he do the
Pander to
mental loop thing?
How do you mean?
So, like just the other day, Alfie will do this. For example, he'll say, "Let's go swimming." And I'll say, "Okay, great." And then he'll go, "No swimming." And I'll go, "You don't want to swim?" And he'll go, "Let's go swimming." And I go, "All right, yeah, let's swim." And he'll go, "No swimming." And it goes right. And it goes on. And I'm like, all right. And then after a while, it's like, okay, you said no. And then he's like, swimming. I want swimming. It's really strange.
Augie's never done that one.
No, the mental, oh my
If
God.
he did it with me,
wild.
I think I would pick at that point. I'd be like, swimming, and just throw him in the pool. Let's go.
And we're swimming.
Yeah, we're swimming. The one thing that became,
Yeah.
you know, I let Augie watch movies mainly because you kind of pick and choose like
Mainly because you need a break.
that, but you also pick and choose like
Yeah.
what you hear from therapists is good or bad. And like I've heard two things, like AAC devices can be helpful to verbal kids that are on the spectrum because it helps encourage new language that they can visualize and see. And so I'm open to them using it at school, even though I'm kind of like, I don't want him to have that as a handicap, but I've heard it's been good for language.
Does he use it at school?
Yeah, they use it at school. I don't use it much at home, but he uses it at
Does
school.
he use it? Does he?
I think when
Okay.
asked to use it, I don't
Sure.
think it's his preference, but
Yeah.
that, and then also I've heard that movies and gaining all this language from movies can be helpful in
Totally.
speech. And so I was like, great, because we love watching movies. And so we're
This
going
is
to watch
great.
the whole Disney canon. And we do, and we watch movies all the time.
And we watch Cars every single day.
Quite often it's the same movie over and over again,
Yes.
and you got to get really used to
Uh-huh.
doing that. That was not something I ever did as a kid. I was not the type. I had friends that were similar in that way, where they
Watched
watched one movie like 100 times.
Wait, really?
I was like, after watching a movie 3 or 4 times, I'd be like, I actually would rather never see that movie again because I'm bored.
Well, I thought it's more of an autism thing now. Like my dad, I'm convinced my dad is on the spectrum.
Okay.
He watched Pulp Fiction every day. I remember when I was a kid, every day for 2 years. Every night he would watch Pulp Fiction. It was fucking...
A little neurospicy, if you ask me. That's unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I didn't think it was like a normal thing to do.
It's
to watch
cool. I think it's awesome. That's not how I process information. I've seen it twice and I'm like, I get it. I know the movie.
Yeah.
I can quote the whole thing for you now.
Yeah. I wonder why kids on the spectrum go crazy over cars.
Oh, I don't know. Augie's had three big fixations thus far. It's
Yeah.
been Moana, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs was like, when I tell
It's a
you,
little cliche.
it is a little
honestly.
cliche, by the way.
But-
It's a sign of a genius. So no big deal. But he like,
Einstein was autistic.
so's Elon. But when
wow.
he wasn't verbal,
Yeah.
right? Like very limited verbal skills. I could show my son a dinosaur and he would go, Pachycephalosaurus.
Wow.
Or I'd show him another one and he'd go, Pteranodon.
Wow.
And I'd be like, that was the point where I was like, I am so driven to do whatever it takes because I'm like, it's all in there.
Yes.
It's
yes.
all in there.
Yes.
And you are just having a hard time
Mhm.
sifting through these files. And
Yeah.
I'm going to help you figure this out because it was like, I was like, you were so smart. I don't even know the name of this dinosaur. And you know the name of this dinosaur. And we are going to figure this out.
Yeah.
That was a point. It was probably like 2.5. It was 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when does your app launch? And is it easy to use?
It's so easy to use.
Like even for me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The only tricky part about it today is like, you got to remember your login for EHR stuff. So that part's, that's the easiest.
That's it. Just you need to remember
You
your
need to know the
password
login.
and
Well,
your-
just once. You only need it once. Once you log in once, we have a 12-month continuous pull for you. That changes in a few months where we can go find all of your records for you. Way better experience. But yeah, it's like you join, you link your wearable. That's one click.
And you guys go find all of.
So today you go, hey, I know I have records at UCLA. I know I have records at
Yeah.
USC. You search those, we pull them out. You log in, we pull every record that you've ever had from there. And then what we really do, which is the magic, is we take all that data, we standardize it, and we structure it so that when you share it with doctors, they have trends and historic insights. And when you talk to chat,
But then does it explain
Yeah.
the trends
to
to
you. Yeah. So when you talk to chat, instead of you being like, hey, chat GPT, here's my latest lab panel, you're going, hey, Augie, tell me what I should be doing or thinking about in my health. And he goes, well, considering everything about your health, here are my suggestions for you. Considering the full context of all your medical records, your wearable data over the last 12 months, and here are the insights for Laura. So it becomes, you get a far more powerful, far more personalized insight into everything, plus the portability of sharing it with doctors, which is where you should be getting most of the medical insight. But like, we also just deliver insights and information about the canon of your medical history. And we're like not gonna sell your data. Like that's the other thing is like a lot of these companies that are launching similar products. You ready to get nerdy with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. The Cures Act passed in 2016. Everyone knows it because of universal health care under Obamacare. But another really important thing that happened in the Cures Act was it was a mandate that while Cedars owns the records they make for me, I must have access to them. So that law,
Say that again.
before the Cures Act,
Yeah.
in federal court, all these health systems won saying we actually own medical records because we generate them
Got
and
it.
then we have the onus of liability
Yeah.
of those records. So like we own them. And Obama, as part of the Cures Act, was like, not so fast.
Yeah.
Everyone should have access to their medical records regardless of where they are. So what they had to do was create, and I'm speaking in like non-technical terms to make
Okay.
it simple, like they created a standard such that anyone could access those records so long as you had the right plug to get into each of those systems.
Okay.
So our app has over 70,000 plugs into every hospital, every pharmacy, every
How did you
provider.
get that?
Big build. Big build to get all the plugs. And then every wearable, so over 300 wearables. So we had to create this very universal architecture where
Okay.
we could say we are truly agnostic. We can take data from anywhere. Or the third option, you got the health systems, you got the wearables, or you can self-upload any lab. So if you just have a
Okay.
PDF of your labs,
Sure.
upload it yourself,
Yeah.
right? So we take it from anywhere. And then this is what I was saying. So that's really cool. That's really great. And it's going to be really empowering for people.
Yeah.
The problem that is, and the thing that is not so cool about that is that HIPAA is the law that protects your personal health information, right?
Yeah.
What's not covered under HIPAA is when an individual shares their data with you. So there is an opportunity for these larger LLMs, like name the biggest one that you might know that's trying to get
Okay.
your health records right now.
Okay.
Once the individual shares their health records with them, that company can do whatever they want with your records. So if they want to start, they're launching ads and they want to start selling you ads. Well, they could be using your personal health information to sell those ads because you
Mhm.
shared the personal health information with them. So it's no longer a HIPAA covered relationship. There's no BAA between you and that LLM. We don't do that. We will never, ever sell any user's data. We will never use advertisement in context with the user's data. That's not our business model. We make money off of doctors who want the longitudinal view to give you better care and better outcomes and cut down on their burnout. And then we make money off of a subscription with users if they want to, so that they get more
What do you
usage
mean
of
if they
chat.
want to?
I want Augie to be free forever
Okay.
for everyone. So
Yeah.
I'd like there to be a free tier where it's like, you get the basics. Hey, I have records here, 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 here. Hey, I want to ask 2 or 3 questions a day of chat. And hey, I want to add a doctor. I'd like that much to be free forever. Everything beyond that, we're like, hey, I have 4 doctors, and hey, I want to ask a ton of questions, or hey, I want a personalized program, or hey,
Like
I
you
want
have an entire
deeper,
family.
deeper insights, or I have dependents and I have kids.
Dependents.
That will probably charge like $15 a month.
Okay.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
something super affordable
Yeah.
that anyone can get, but like
Yeah.
something where we're actually making money, because all that, by the way, all the work that it takes to do all that is very expensive for us.
Really?
But yeah, totally. It's like super expensive. You're spending a lot of token rates. You're spending on the pulls from the APIs. Like there's a lot of, and storage and data. We probably, even on the free tiers, we'll probably end up losing $4 to $5 a month per user. So
Okay.
despite that, we still want it to be free because I think it's more important that it's free.
I love how it came about when you were driving to Vegas with your high school friend. Can you tell me that quickly?
Oh yeah, it's a good story. So I've known my co-founder Alex since high school, and was a senior engineer at Google, and we were in a fantasy football league together, and I didn't know anything about him. Like we had
That's
known
so
each.
male. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so male. Like you've known him
Very.
since high school. You're like, I had no idea.
I had no idea what he did for a living.
Yeah.
He had no idea what I did for a living. We've just been in a fantasy league for the last 12 years together. And he's just Alex in the league. Like I'm like, yeah, I knew him from, he went to Harvard Westlake. I went to Wildwood. Like I kind of knew him.
Okay.
And I had actually just broken up with like my ex at the time. And after this fantasy draft we were doing in Vegas, I was like going to Zion. I was like, I'm going to go backpacking for 3 days and just like reset my head. And I was like, hey, I'm driving to Vegas. I'm not going to fly. Does anybody want to come with me? And Alex was like, I'll come. And I was like, I don't know this guy. 3 hours. All right, I'm going to get to know Alex. And so we together drive to Vegas and we get caught in a flash flood. I remember the date very well. It was September like 2nd or 3rd in 2023. And so this car ride that was supposed to be 3.5 hours ended up being 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I told him all about the company that I'd sold before this. And he was telling me that he was an engineer at Google. And we started talking about AI. This was like early ChatGPT being exciting in new days. And I was saying what I had built and the models I'd tuned for my son. And he was like, dude, we just started riffing. And for 6 hours, we talked about this. And by the time we got to Vegas, we weren't all that excited for the draft. We were like, we just came up with a great idea for a company. Let's build this for people.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was a bit of a God shot?
1,000%. I mean,
Right?
literally like a biblical flood.
Do you
You know,
know?
there was a biblical flood that we were stuck in. Like it was very much felt like it felt like some divine
Yeah.
intervention. It's a cool story. It's so
It really is.
Yeah.
I find stuff like that happens quite often. But I'm silly. Like I believe in manifestation, but not even in the like woo-woo sense. It's really just when you focus on what you want and you have a strong vision, like opportunities just present themselves when you live in
Absolutely.
that space.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, you could make it as anti-woo-woo as saying, well, if all I think about is finding a carrot, everything I'm going to do thereafter is going to be informed by the fact that I'm looking for a carrot.
Yeah.
So all of my decisions will be in pursuit of carrot, and inherently I will find every opportunity
Yes.
in life that might lead me to a carrot. So it's like,
Yes.
it's literally just as
But if
simple
the
as
narrative
input
is,
out.
I'll never find a carrot. Carrots are too hard to find.
Yeah, you're not going to be looking for carrots.
You'll never
Yeah,
find the
You'll
carrot.
never find a carrot.
Anyway, where can people find you?
Like in life.
What's your address
So I
and your
live in Los
social
Angeles.
security number?
214. Yeah, we're at AugiHealth on all the socials. I'm just at Cameron Moulène on all the socials. But Augie launches on February 14th.
Whoa.
So in about 2 weeks, might be right around
Valentine's
it.
Day.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm gonna
my
be on the day of love.
God. Wow.
And we'll be announcing some really exciting partnerships with like nationwide doctors and groups, and hopefully scale up our provider side
Dude.
partners quickly.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is huge. This is a big deal.
It's a
I'm
big
nervous
deal.
for you.
I'm not nervous. I'm not very
No,
nervous.
we're excited.
We're excited. Yeah, we're
Yeah, because
excited.
this is incredible. This is life changing.
I hope it's life changing for a lot of people. It was life changing for me and my son, you know. And that's actually like, I just hope that I can like,
Yeah.
there's a lot, you know this, but there's like a lot of fear when something's not going right in health and you don't know what to do and you don't feel like anyone on your medical team is on your side. And if AugiHealth can remove that for other people, that would be great. That would mean a lot to me.
Okay, AugiHealth, and
AugiHealth.
they can download it.
You could
on the
download it
apps.
on first
Okay.
on Apple, and within the next
Okay.
6 months, we'll have an Android version as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I'm glad you reached out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people how we met?
You just slid in my DMs and you were like, "Hey, I have a 6-year-old on the spectrum too, and you're doing a great job." And I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah, I thought you were doing it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this huge platform that you built and everything that you've. I was just like, this is a cool mom who's got a kid. And it seems like she's doing great. Awesome.
Totally, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you got fed some video with
Yeah.
my
Had
son
to have been
and
what it
I.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Of course. And I always just, it's always nice to connect with other parents with kids on the spectrum, because it is like a journey that just my friends, I don't know that they'll ever fully understand.
No,
Yeah. And that's okay.
it's totally cool. It's totally cool.
But it's nice to have that, to have friends who get it. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, get the fuck out.